Let's talk about romantic love. I mean, it's everywhere, right? It's the subject of our greatest songs, our most popular movies, and for so many of us, it feels like the central quest of our lives. But if it's that important, why does it so often end in confusion, disappointment, and just pain? For the last 200 years or so, we've been running this massive cultural experiment. It's called Romanticism. And the big idea is simple: follow your heart, trust your feelings, and they'll lead you to happiness. But here's the thing: according to philosopher Alain de Botton, this experiment, it's pretty much failed. We aren't really any happier in our relationships than our ancestors were when marriages were just practical, business-like arrangements.
So, what went wrong? How did this beautiful ideal of just following our instincts lead us so far off track? Well, to understand that, we kind of have to look at how we got here in the first place.
For most of human history, marriage was, well, it was a business deal. It was a practical, dynastic thing. You married someone because your families had farms next to each other, not because they gave you butterflies in your stomach. Then, around the late 18th century, the Romantic age kicks in, telling us to be guided only by our feelings. But the argument now is that we need to enter a new third era, the therapeutic age, one that's based not on blind instinct, but on actual psychological understanding. And what's wild is how deep this romantic ideal is baked into our culture. We're taught that true love is just this magical feeling, that you'll just know when you find the one, and that your soulmate will understand you without you ever having to say a word. But the reality? The reality is that a lasting, healthy love requires skills that are pretty much the complete opposite of that fairy tale script. And this, right here, gets to the very heart of the problem. We label the most important conversations, about money, about our psychological baggage, about our families. We label all that stuff unromantic. We're basically taught that using our reason is the enemy of love. But what if? What if those so-called unromantic topics are the very tools we need for love to actually work? Okay, so if following our feelings is the problem, why do we keep doing it? Well, the answer lies a lot deeper, in a script that was written for us long before we ever went on our first date. Let's take a look at what psychotherapy has to teach us about this. Think about it like this. None of us actually remember learning to speak our first language, right? But we all learned its incredibly complex grammar, just invisibly. Well, in the exact same way, we learned an emotional grammar from our parents or caregivers. This became our unconscious rulebook for everything: for trust, for what we think we're worth, and for how to handle really big things like anger or intimacy. And here is a staggering reality check. It's estimated that about half, 50% of the population, had childhoods where their emotional needs weren't consistently met. This leaves them with something called an attachment wound. So on any given date, there's literally a 50-50 chance the person sitting across from you, and hey, maybe you too, is operating from a place of deep, unconscious emotional injury.
And this is the part that might just blow your mind. Our unconscious, it isn't searching for a partner who will make us happy. No. It's searching for a partner who feels familiar. And if familiar to you growing up involved chaos or emotional distance or criticism, your romantic instincts will guide you with horrifying precision right back into those exact same dynamics as an adult.
Here's a really powerful way to think about it. If you grew up on an emotionally restricted diet, a genuinely kind, stable, and loving partner can feel, well, overwhelming. It's like being served a super rich dessert when your system just can't handle it. It's too much. And unconsciously, people in this spot will often sabotage a good relationship because goodness itself feels terrifyingly unfamiliar. So, where does that leave us? I mean, if our instincts are flawed and our past is pulling the strings, are we just doomed? Not at all. It just means we need a completely new approach. We need to stop treating love like it's some magical feeling and start treating it like it's a skill. I mean, think about it. If you were going to climb Mount Everest, you'd train for years. You'd have tools, a map, a whole plan. Yet we walk up to the Everest of human connection with nothing but a vague feeling. And then we're shocked when we stumble and fall. It's time we got some proper equipment. According to de Botton, this right here is the single most important, most loving, and most practical question you can ask a new partner. And no, it's not an insult. It's an invitation to share your emotional grammar, your unique patterns, basically the ways you are difficult to live with. Because let's be honest, we all are. And this is why that question is so powerful. Because a good partner isn't someone with no issues. That person doesn't exist. A truly safe partner
is someone who has done the work to understand their own flaws and can tell you about them with some humility, someone who takes responsibility for their side of things.
So this new playbook, it requires a totally different mindset. It needs humility, because we're all flawed, lovable idiots. It needs a little bit of pessimism, to accept that conflict is normal. It requires curiosity, to get interested in why you're clashing instead of just trying to win the argument. And finally, forgiveness, because the goal isn't perfection. It's getting good at repair. Okay, so all of this, it all leads to one final, absolutely monumental shift in perspective. It's the core idea that could really change everything about how we approach love in our modern world. Our entire culture, our movies, our songs, our stories, is obsessed with the goal on the left, searching for the right person. We spend years swiping, searching, filtering. But what if all that energy is pointed in the wrong direction? The real work, the work that actually creates lasting love, is focusing on the goal on the right, becoming the kind of person who is capable of love.
Here's a thought that might sound a little scary at first, but is actually incredibly freeing. You will marry the wrong person. We all do, in the sense that no one is ever going to be a perfect match for us. No one will meet all our needs and understand us perfectly. The secret is to stop searching for perfection and instead find a good enough person, and then roll up your sleeves and start the real work of love.
And this just reframes everything. We think we have to find compatibility, like it's some treasure you dig up, but it isn't. It's a house you build together, brick by brick, through patience, curiosity, and skill.
So maybe true love isn't a feeling you just fall into. Maybe it's a skill you practice. It's the daily effort of understanding another complicated human being and of allowing them to understand you in return. The only question left is, are you ready to put down the fairy tale and pick up the tools?